The moment you make yourself the hero of your own story, you've missed the point.
So if someone wants to establish themselves as a key person of influence, but they don't feel confident about putting themselves out in the spotlight, what would you say to them?
It's not about you. This is the great irony of what it means to lead. Right? And when we talk about becoming a key person of influence, when we talk about building a founder's brand, we're really talking about leadership. It's just a more nuanced perspective on leadership. You know, it's not the type of leadership that people were talking about back in the 80s with IBM and, you know, you're a mid-manager corporate leader type thing. Now, this is much more nuanced. This is, you've got a big wide blue ocean of entrepreneurship where we can leverage media, we can leverage technology, and we can spread an idea anywhere in the world in real time. Like, it's interesting. I posted a video yesterday and instantly it was available in New York, London, Argentina, and my daughter Mila's kids will be able to look at that video in 50 years' time and it will have had no wear and tear on it at all. That guitar behind you won't have the same luck with time. Right? So there are very few things that for free can be made available instantly everywhere in the world, will last in perpetuity with no wear and tear. And so that is what we're talking about harnessing when we're talking about becoming a key person of influence. I mean, that's just the mechanism of it. So you take that mechanism and you add in that mechanism, what is the thing you're looking to change in the world, right? So from our perspective, I want small business owners thriving so they can make a dent in the universe. And the dent in the universe is up to them. That's theirs. That's not my judgment, but it's this idea of being up to something beyond making money, right? In the communication of this, like even just this conversation, this isn't about me. I'm a mouthpiece for an ideal, for an ideology, for a philosophy, for a set of principles. And Janelle Gonzalez is one of our clients, built a very successful, built the fastest growing automotive company in Australia called Blue Toro. When she puts out thought leadership, because she very much is the key person of influence. She wrote the book. She's built one of the fastest growing companies in the country, very, very successful 8-figure business. When she speaks, it's not about her. You know, she's not an extrovert by nature. She's certainly not a shameless self-promoter by nature. And so I think when people realize that the moment you make yourself the hero of your own story, you've missed the point. That's not influence. That's narcissism. Look at Brené Brown is a wonderful example. But I mean, even the Tim Ferrisses, God, even the Jamie Olivers, his name is on everything, and yet you don't get the sense that he's trying to make it all about him. His spirit of intent is about bringing people together around good food, and his mission is around good quality food in schools for kids. And he is just the evangelist of that, but it's not about him. And so what's really ironic about this question, I think it's a good question and it's worth pondering, is it's often people's ego that is trying to defend that it doesn't want to promote its own ego. But really what it's trying to do is protect itself from having to lead, from having to lead from the front, from having to publicly state a position. Usually that leads to a winter of discontent. The vast majority of people watching this have got a nice car and a nice home and a nice family, and well, hopefully their family's nice, and all this stuff comes together. And unless there is some form of self-expression beyond that, in my experience personally, but also in the experience of talking with lots and lots of people, that leads to an inner either yearning or calling, or if left too long, a gnawing and potentially a regret for things not said and a position not stated. Every single industry has those type of leaders, those type of people that are willing to lead from the front, and any type of personality, from the Jamie Olivers to the Gordon Ramsays, opposite ends of the spectrum. Brene Brown, self-stated, hyper introvert, right? All the way through to like a Tony Robbins type person. But you could think Warren Buffett, still absolutely a thought leader, absolutely a key person of influence, and has been before he was super famous. Bill Gates was publishing in ragtag technology publications. And in fact, he was stating a position, whether you agree with the position or not, that code and technology and software shouldn't be open source and free, that it should be commercialized. Because his argument was, if we can't develop code that becomes a proprietary asset, it's never going to become an industry and it's never going to go anywhere. It's only until this stuff can actually have real value and be owned that we could build an industry. This was before the industry. He was taking these positions. People hated him for that, but also people agreed with him for that. And he was able to attract the people that wanted to commercialize that industry. And as a result, that publishing gave him access to the people that he needed to eventually go and build Microsoft. So to sum up, I think it's really about getting out of your own way and having that courage to lead.